Hi. So, week two video. Week two video is empathy. So we are doing life skills at MAPS. It's a 10 weeks of life skills, starting with self-awareness. Then we had empathy. Next is critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, problem solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, coping with stress, and coping with emotions. The 10 core life skills as laid out by the World Health Organization. So last week we did self-awareness, which was a good one, and it seemed to play still into this week. It went all the way. And then empathy is what we did on Wednesday. So empathy, it was a good conversation. There was a good amount of people. So we're going to do empathy. So empathy is, at its simplest, awareness of the feelings and the emotions of all other people. It is a key element of emotional intelligence and the link between self and others, because it is how we as individuals understand what others are experiencing as if we were feeling it ourselves. So a lot of people say, well, that's not empathy. That's sympathy. So the difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy and versus sympathy. Empathy goes far beyond sympathy, which might be considered feeling for someone. Empathy instead is feeling with that person, through the use of imagination. So, empathy is awareness of others' feelings, needs, and concerns. Basically, the ability to understand others' emotions. However, on a deeper level, it is about defining, understanding and reacting to the concerns and needs that underlie others' emotional responses and reactions. Empathy is a skill that can be developed, and though empathizing at some level comes naturally to most people, Daniel Goodman identified 5 key elements of empathy. So the elements of empathy are 1, understanding others, 2, developing others, 3, having a service orientation, 4, leveraging diversity, and 5, political awareness. So, 1, understanding others. Empathy, in Goldman's words, is sensing others' feelings and perspectives and taking an active interest in their concerns. Those who do this tune into emotional cues, they listen well, and they also pay attention to nonverbal communication, picking up subtle cues almost subconsciously. They show sensitivity and understand others' perspectives. And they are able to help other people based on their understanding of those people's needs and feelings. All of these skills are possible if you want to do so. Some people may switch off their emotional antenna to avoid being swamped by the feelings of others. So I noticed that some people, even after MAPS, some facilitators like myself, some people that attend, we do a shutdown after MAPS. We had a MAPS chat that was where we could chat with the people, only the people that have attended MAPS, and we could chat on the outside if we needed additional support throughout the week. And I noticed that in there sometimes, after a meeting on Wednesdays, there would be a little bit of a withdrawal, or somebody would have something come up, or what we talked about had been something that they were pondering. So there's a little bit of a shutdown, or and that's okay, because sometimes some of us feel, you feel other people's feelings. You don't just feel for them, you feel them. And so it takes time some of the self-care is pulling away and allowing your brain to process and comprehend everything that it's going through or thought of or dealing with, and then plugging back in. It also happens in hospitals, and I'm sure in nursing homes and stuff like that, where it's mundane, same routine, same thing, where you're constantly feeling for others, and then eventually just becomes something like a job. It just becomes work. And I know that we've all been in those type of situations where somebody's supposed to be offering care, and they just don't feel like they're into it. So that would be where they emotionally just shut down, maybe for themselves, or because they feel too much. So, it's just a form of coping from overexposure. So, something to think about the next time when you're sitting at a doctor's office or the hospital, when you notice that somebody's not really giving you the care that they need. Maybe they're just feeling something, or maybe they're feeling too much of something that day. We never know what somebody just dealt with 5 minutes ago in the last room, so we have to be empathetic to that. So number 2, developing others. Developing others means acting on their needs and concerns and helping them to develop to their full potential. People with skills in this area usually reward and praise people for their strengths and accomplishments and provide constructive feedback designed to focus on how to improve. And they provide mentoring and coaching to help others to develop to their full potential. So really just wanting others to succeed as well, not just yourself, but when you figure it out or you get your aha moment, that you want to help others get that too. And so being empathetic. And number 3, having a service orientation. Usually this is for work situations. Having a service orientation means putting the needs of customers first and looking for ways to improve their satisfaction and loyalty. People who have this approach will go the extra mile for customers. They will genuinely understand customers' needs and go out of their way to help them meet them. There are many non-work situations which require us to help others in some way, where putting their needs center stage may enable us to see the situation differently and perhaps offer more useful support and assistance. Sometimes taking a step back and looking and just seeing what you can offer, or what you thought you went there to offer. Maybe that's not what they need. Maybe it's just a listening ear, or a shoulder to cry on, or some words of encouragement, or maybe a note of hope. 4, leveraging diversity. Leveraging diversity means being able to create and develop opportunities through different kinds of people, recognizing and celebrating that we all bring something different to the table. MAPS, this is great because it was a great analogy, because I do love everybody that sits at the table, and I do think that we all bring something special to it. And I know that even the ones that are not the regular people and they come only so often, we miss their stuff at the table. So it does not mean that you treat everyone the same way, but that you tailor the way you interact to fit with their needs and their feelings. People with this skill respect and relate well to everyone, regardless of their background. As a general rule, they see diversity as an opportunity, understanding that diverse teams work much better together. People who are good at leveraging diversity also challenge intolerance, bias, and stereotyping when they see it, creating the atmosphere that is respectful towards everyone. That means sometimes standing up for people that won't or can't stand up for themselves. It also means stepping in when you see somebody doing something that is intolerable to a majority of people, where you would think not to mind your own business, or making it a safe environment for everybody should be a thing that everybody does, and then it would be a safe environment for everybody. So number 5 is political awareness. Many use political skills as manipulative. Many view. We did this in MAPS too, and I wrote down the wrong word and I didn't correct it. Many view political skills as manipulative, but in its best sense, political means sensing and responding to a group's emotional undercurrents and power relationships. Political awareness can help individuals to navigate organizational relationships effectively, allowing them to achieve where others may previously have failed, or may have empathy, sympathy, and compassion. Important distinctions between these. So both compassion and sympathy are about feeling for someone, seeing their distress and realizing that they are suffering. Compassion has taken on an element of action that is lacking in sympathy, but the root of the word is the same. Empathy is about experiencing those feelings for yourself, as if you were that person, through the power of imagination. 3 types of empathy. So, the first type of empathy is cognitive empathy, is understanding someone's thoughts and emotions in a very rational rather than emotional sense. The next would be emotional empathy, which is also known as emotional contagion and is catching someone else's feelings so that you literally feel them too. And then there's compassionate empathy, which is understanding someone's feelings and taking appropriate action to help. Towards empathy, it may not always be easy or even possible to empathize with others, but through good people skills and some imagination, we can work towards more empathetic feelings. Research has suggested that individuals who can empathize enjoy better relationships with others and greater well-being through life. And then I found this quote by Barack Obama from 2006, and I think that it explains empathy probably in the best way that I've ever heard. So I'll end with that. So starts. I think we should talk more about our empathetic deficient. I think we should talk more about our empathy deficiency, the ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to see the world through the eyes of those who are different from us. The child who is hungry, the worker who has been laid off, the family who lost their entire life they built together when a storm came to town. When you think like this, when you choose to broaden your amid of concern and empathize with the plight of others, whether they are close friends or distant strangers, it becomes harder not to act and harder not to help. So when you're putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, when you're feeling what they feel, when you understand and have to use your imagination to broaden what your ability is at the moment, you're opening the world to bigger places. You're opening yourself to bigger places. And sometimes that one little piece of empathy, that one piece of understanding, that one thought that somebody cared, literally can be enough to change somebody's life. I've witnessed it in the last year a few times, and there is no greater joy than to know that all you did was care, and that that caring could be the difference in somebody else's life. And so just do it. It's easy. It's a skill that we can all do, and the world would be a much better place with it. So that is empathy. Next week we are doing critical thinking. So I'll be back in a week with one more. And till then, watch the video, subscribe down there, and like our videos and share them amongst your friends. I hope that anybody that has never been to a MAPS meeting, come on out and join us, or follow along here on our YouTube channel. We also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website at www.niagaraunited.org. Feel free to contact us on any one of those if you are struggling or in distress, and we will gladly be empathetic to what's going on, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.